Well, thank you very much, Anne Marie, and to all of you who are here today. The first thing I would say is congratulations. One of the things that happens as you get older is you actually get to watch history play out before your eyes. I first started coming up to Lahey mostly for business-related reasons when I was working in the Weldon Salucci administration back in the early 90s, which would be roughly 28, 30 years ago. Lots happened since then. One of the things that's been most interesting to me is to watch this facility morph over that period of time. The number of changes that have taken place here and the number of new developments as both the financing world has changed, as the care delivery models have changed, as the relationships between providers and providers and providers and payers and providers and government have changed, has actually been, in some respects, a pleasure to watch, because this is an organization that understands and recognizes how important its traditions are, but is perfectly capable of adapting to a changing marketplace, a changing context, a changing clinical world, and a changing set of approaches to dealing with treatment and care. And Howard's comments about what I used to say about Lahey Clinic when I was at Harvard Pilgrim are exactly right. On all the data and all the analysis we ever did, Lahey Clinic, Lahey Hospital and Medical Center was a very high-value provider. Case mix adjusted costs that were absolutely among the lowest among those who serve the most complex patients in Massachusetts, and a very high-quality provider. And I say that as somebody who spent a lot of years looking at a lot of data in this space in a community that has a bunch of really terrific healthcare organizations. And for those of you who are here this morning who work with this institution and work for this institution, you should be enormously proud of the work that you do and the legacy that you've set and the bar that you've established here. This is a terrific organization, a terrific institution. It's a big part of why I'm here. I also want to congratulate you for inviting so many folks from the local communities, and especially those who represent the first responder community. They are obviously going to be among your biggest partners here in this emergency room, and have been your biggest partners for a long period of time. And I'm sure they're looking forward to the fact that the emergency room would be a little bigger than it was back in the day. And I think in some ways, Lahey's decision to invest in this, and let's face it, when you look at this board and you think about how much of this was raised philanthropically, that's a huge statement about the faith that people have in this organization, and the faith that people have in its history, and the belief that people have in its future. You know, it's not easy to raise money for an emergency room. And when you look at how much these folks have been able to put together to support this endeavor, it really does speak to that whole idea that results attract resources. I mean, great institutions, great organizations that do great work and have a track record that people can come to believe will translate into a future that builds on the success of the past, usually have more success raising money than others. And this is a big statement about how people feel about this institution and the people who work here and the work that it does. And my final thought is how much this will mean, not just to the people who come in the front door, who obviously, as you point out, are in the midst of some sort of horrible day or continuing reoccurrence with respect to some illness that they've been dealing with, but for the family members and the friends who are usually part of that experience. They will be able to feel comfortable and confident that they are bringing their family member, their friend, their neighbor to a place where they believe they will receive the absolute very best that we have here in the Commonwealth to offer them. I'm here because I think Lahey is a jewel and a treasure, not just to the Commonwealth of Mass and to the people who live and who are served by it, but to the country and to the healthcare world generally. You should all be enormously proud of what you've done, but you should also recognize that a big part of what made today possible is the legacy and the history of those who are here and came before you. And I look forward to a positive, terrific, spectacular, and continued excellent future for the folks here at Lahey and the people who are served by it. Congratulations.